grew up around my grandparents and my grandmother. I admired her and desired to be like her. What sustains me is a wonderful husband, awesome children, and a wonderful church family, and my relationship with God and my walk with Him. Well, I like about myself that I'm an organizer. I love to organize. I am patient. I'm giving, and some other things I can't think of. I'll see myself in 10 years. The Lord don't come back and get me. I see doing the same thing in the sense of teaching and motivating the women and young ladies in pastors' wives. That's a yes and no question. I'm still desiring to teach. I have granddaughters that want to teach and mentor other young ladies. Just that I have been a help to the women that I have touched during my time, and so I hope that they will be encouraged.
I get my start in church, in school, as well as in the community. What sustains me is God. God is my rock. What I like about myself is that I'm a fighter, I'm an advocate for the people, and I'm very comfortable in the fight for those whose voices are oftentimes not heard. In 10 years, I see myself continuing to serve, whether it's on a local, state, or national level. I haven't reached all the goals, and in the words of Frederick Douglass, the struggle continues. What I look to lead in society is a leadership that was based on the fight for justice, equality, and equity for all.
I got my start with Dr. Morgan. She was a dentist that I met while I was in dental school. It was something about me, I guess, that she kind of gravitated to me and asked me that I want to go in with her to reopen a dental office that was in South Dallas. So fortunately, I had some funds, and with one of my family members, I received additional funds, and I was able to go into ownership with the dental practice over there. God sustained me. There's no way I could be where I am now without God, with everything that I go through and have been through. You know, the saying, you don't know my story, that's real. And I would say my family and friends as well. I like that. I feel like I'm a genuine person. I feel like I am who I am. I kind of call myself like just an ordinary person, and I try to function that way. I came from like a middle class family in Galveston. My dad was a licensed plumber. My mom was a teacher. So I was the first like dentist, doctor, in the immediate family. But I just always tried to stay humble. And that's the key to my life. 10 years, if the Lord say the same, I still see myself practicing. Maybe I have some grandkids. My daughter at Howard right now, so calculate a couple of years, give or take if she go to law school or not. I have no idea yet. But I mean, I see myself staying active as long as I can stay active. I like what I do, and I'll stay active as long as I can. I have a little black book. And based on the black book I have, except the twins that I said I was going to have. So I didn't have the twins, but I do have a son and a daughter. So, but everything else on the list is there. So at this point, I'm just trying to move to higher levels. A good name. I just want when someone thinks of me, I know I can't please everyone, but for the most part, it's just not a lot of slanderous stuff out there in my name.
Hello, my name is Savitri Brown, and I've been an educator for more than 20 years. I received my start in Terrell, Texas, with the support of a great mother who made many sacrifices for me. In addition, at the Mount Hebron Baptist Church, I was afforded the opportunity to teach Sunday school at a very young age. As this seed for teaching was planted in my life and I continued to grow, my husband, Dr. Timothy Brown, supported my undergraduate work and my graduate work as well. So presently, I have the responsibility to teach students and also teach teachers. It is my life's goal to leave a more literate society. My work down here is not finished as long as there is one child who does not know how to read. And when my work down here is done, I'd like for it to be said about me that I tried to help somebody along the way.
My start professionally came from learning the lessons I needed to learn in this lifetime, drew me to this field, and studying public health. What sustains me is community. At 44, I like the fact that I have completely released this notion that I can be perfect. In 10 years, I see myself living my best life. No, I haven't achieved all of my goals, and quite frankly, I hope I'm still working to achieve my goals when I take my very last breath on this earth. When I think about my life and impact on society, I really just want to model what does it look like if we show up and love one another, and we release judgment and we release expectation, and we just see each other for the beautiful selves that we are.
I got my start after college. I worked for an attorney, and I never had thought about going to law school because I didn't even know any attorneys. And it was so much fun working for him, and I enjoyed it so much. And he encouraged me, and I decided that I could actually do that. What sustains me is faith, family, and friends. What I like about myself is that I never back down from a challenge. If I decide that I'm going to do something, or if I make a goal for myself, then I always follow through. Where do I see myself in 10 years? That's a difficult question because I wouldn't have seen myself here 10 years ago. So I enjoy what I do, and I'll just kind of have to see what doors might open. Maybe the same thing or maybe something else. The goals and achieving all of them in my life, I've achieved all the goals that I knew I had professionally, but there's always extra goals out there, and I'll probably never achieve them all. What I'd like to leave on society is just to help make it a better place. I work hard to educate people about what we do to make it less complicated and more understandable, and to mentor youth so that we can have hopefully a better future.
I got my start in Houston, Texas when I was an intern for Judge Belinda Hill, and at that time she inspired me to want to be a judge, and that's what made me run for judge. What sustains me is God. Every morning I pray, every evening I pray. When I make decisions on the bench, before I make those decisions, I pray for God to give me discernment and to give me the answers. Well, of course I like everything about myself, but most importantly, I like the spirit that I have, the way that I can reach everyone and, meet them where they are, and, I never meet a stranger, and people open up to me, so that's what I like about myself. In 10 years, I want to continue to be a politician, so I don't know if that will take me to Austin, to DC, who knows where I'll be. I don't believe a person achieves all their goals, because every day they should be working to be better on everything that they do. So every day I'm working to be better at myself, better on the job, so you never really reach your goal. What I look to leave on society is the impact that I've made on lives, on children, on my own family, on friends, on young women. The impact of being able to be yourself, being beautiful, being fit, having brains, and just like Shirley Chisholm said, unbought and unbossed. That's what I think all women should be, and all women should look for.
How did I get my start? I think it started from the day that I was born, and my parents instilled in me to do the best and always do the best. My father had a saying that said, "Ain't no half stepping in this house," which meant you did it right or you didn't do it at all. But for my parents, it meant you kept doing it till you got it right. What sustains me? It has to be my belief in my Lord Jesus Christ. I face so many challenges in my life, daily attacks for doing the right thing, and but for the grace of God, I'd probably be in some closet hiding out right now. Well, I guess there are actually two things that I like best about myself. One is my commitment to my community. I love my Dallas community, which is why I created the Citizen Civil Academy, which is a free, nonpartisan program about the civil court system. The other thing that I like about myself is my ability to handle pressure. Those of you who know me know that I get attacked on a frequent basis, but you know what? That emboldens me because I know I must be doing something right. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Hopefully on the Supreme Court bench for the state of Texas. You never achieve any goals. You're constantly changing, modifying those goals, and as you learn more about life, more experiences, you change those goals and reach them even higher. I look to lead on first and foremost the Citizen Civil Academy. I hope it continues and grows throughout eternity. I hope I can serve as a role model to fellow women that you can do whatever you set your mind to. In fact, a little girl who was raised in Marshall, Texas, look where she is now. And 3, I hope that people can look at my life and say, you might get knocked down, but you just brush those knees up and get back up and start over again the next day.
I started because when I decided to go to law school, I wanted to become a civil rights attorney. And back at that time, there really weren't that many jobs that I could obtain that would allow me to do what I wanted to. So I decided to go into criminal law, and I started with the DA's office. What sustains me is the calling that I believe that the criminal justice system needs to be better because I came through it and because I worked in it than the way that I found it. I'm tenacious. I like the fact that I work hard, and that I believe that as long as I work hard, that I can attain the goals that I set for myself. I see myself on the bench. I see myself still serving the citizens of the state of Texas. I see myself working in criminal justice. I'm hoping that I see myself on a higher bench serving at the highest court that deals with criminal affairs in the state of Texas, the Court of Criminal Appeals. And my goals are to make sure that I continue down this path of serving the citizens of Dallas County and the state of Texas by doing all that I can for not only defendants, but also victims of crime. I look to leave a world that believes in rehabilitation, that believes in second chances, that believes in the law, and believes that judges and government officials can truly do their job and serve the citizens that they were elected to serve.
I got my start here in Dallas, because I am a native, on the campus of Paul Quinn College, one of the oldest historically Black colleges here in our metropolis. And I went on to get my master's degree from the University of Texas at Austin, majoring in social work. My faith in Jesus Christ is what sustains me. That is what keeps me going. If you don't have faith and trust in God, nothing else is going to sustain you. So that is what keeps me going. What I like about myself is that I am a fun-loving people person. I love people. I am energetic. I thrive off of people and the energy that I feed off of them. In 10 years from now, I'm going to be retired from work. I'm going to be a full-fledged grandmother raising Kalani LaShawn and 7 Nicole. I'm going to be focused fully in ministry in Newly Family Church, where I am the First Lady. And I am going to be just the most retired, happy person that there is. loving and living life. I have achieved some goals, and the majority of them I have, because when you stop setting goals for yourself, I believe you die. You have nothing left to live for. So the goals that I have set, yes, I have achieved the majority of them, but I am a goal setter, and so I am continuously setting goals all of my life. So that's a yes and a no. So I am continuously setting goals. On society, I hope to leave peace and prosperity. I hope they'll look back and remember my charisma and my charm. I hope they'll look and say that girl loved everybody. I hope they'll look and say she left with me her charm and her charisma and that she loved without limits. So that's what I hope to leave.
In 1990, my husband was called to pastor a church here in the city of Dallas, and so we went. I began to teach Sunday school. I became a part of the evangelism team. I created programs for the ministry, and then I began to work with the women's ministry, and that was home for me. I am proud to have been an educator for the Dallas Independent School District for 28 years. I'm thankful to God how He has given me 2 handsome sons who are both in the ministry and are doing an outstanding job. I enjoy being a servant. I love to walk on the park every morning, and then I love to watch my husband. As I look behind, I see him trying to catch up with me. That gives me so much joy, and I'm just so thankful to God. And I know that all that He has allowed me to achieve, it could not have been done without Him. To God be the glory for the things that He has done.
How did I get my start? Well, if you're talking about my start in politics, I got my start in politics from a little known thing called recess. When I enrolled my children in school in DeSoto ISD back in the 2013-2014 school year, the school district had done away with recess. So being the lawyer that I am and the parent that I am, I organized the other parents and we did a petition to get recess back. What sustained me? I am a wife. I am a mother of 2 daughters. They're 11 and 13, and that keeps me very busy. I am also an avid reader, and I thank God for Audible every day now because I can multitask and listen to books while I read. So I would say my family and my hobbies like reading and shopping for jewelry is probably the things that sustain me and just keep me focused. What I like about myself is I like my tenacity. I don't back down, and I don't back off from things. This is not I campaigned for judge in the 2018 cycle, and I lost, and it hurt, and it was devastating. But I knew that if the opportunity presented itself again, no matter how hurt or disappointed I was, that I would get back out there and do it, because it was a dream that I was chasing, and it was a goal, and I just don't take no for an answer real easy. So I admire my tenacity, because there are times I surprised myself that I would even get back up and go after something even after being denied. In 10 years, I see myself as a seasoned judge sitting on the bench in family court, making the right decision that impacts people's lives and helping families. I've achieved some of them, not all of them, because I just feel like you got to keep on striving. You never get too comfortable. You're always going to have to keep on getting out there, pushing for things. I look to leave on society an impact. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference in the lives of other people. I want to make a difference in the lives of my children by the things that I teach them, by the things that I model for them, and what they're going to go on to contribute to society. That's how I want to make an impact.
I started out as an English teacher, teaching 8th grade English, and then I went on from there to teach 9th through 12th grade English. And eventually that landed me a career in higher education by way of social services. So I really wanted to make an impact on the community beyond the classroom. And that really is what helped me to understand my contribution and value to the community, is that, number one, there are students who have less than everyone else, and they deserve the opportunity to have more. And so my goal is ultimately to do everything I can in my power to influence change in communities of color. And so I ultimately look forward to impressing upon other young women how important it is to give back to society.
Hello, this is Judge Andrea Lane. How did I get my start? Well, I graduated from law school, and I always knew that I always had a goal. My goal was always to one day become a judge. That was what I wanted to do from the time I saw Perry Mason on TV to when I discovered Thurgood Marshall and his importance. I always knew I wanted to be a judge. So the path from education, from college to law school, to my first job, everything I've done was to make a path and get the experiences so that I would be able to be a judge and be a good judge. So after law school, I took a job at the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. And because I had a desire to help kids, I asked to be sent to the juvenile department. So I actually started in this building where I'm the presiding judge, representing Child Protective Services in abuse and neglect cases. After I left the district attorney's office, I started my own private practice where my focus was still on children and youth. In addition to focusing on children and youth in my practice, I also was a mentor with the IST. I volunteered with Boys and Girls Clubs. I always spent a lot of time within the schools to give back. So the second question is, what sustains me? What sustains me is the fact that I have been blessed so much. God has blessed me so much, and I don't deserve it. I really don't. I don't deserve it. And because I recognize that, I make a point of always giving back. Being part of the community and in service is something I did well before I became judge, and it's something I still do. I enjoy serving because, you know, as a leader, you can't be a good leader without being a servant. That's the example we have through Jesus. And that's the example I have through the women who surrounded me when I was growing up. But for these ladies who took me under their wing, I wouldn't be where I am. They sustained me from college to law school, to the district attorney's office, to starting my practice, to actually running for judge. These same ladies, and unfortunately some of them have died now, but they were there. They always were there, smiling, cheerleading, being there financially if needed. So that's what sustains me, my desire to give back. What do I like about me? You know, with my upbringing, I didn't always feel like I was worthy of anything. I didn't feel like, sometimes I even felt dirty, like, you know, everybody was here and I was down here. And it took a while for me to break free of that bond. And it was that bond because, you know, I didn't know anyone else at school who had their lights turned off, who had to go to school to take a shower in the morning in the locker room because we didn't have water. I didn't know anyone else who had to go and get clothes from clothing banks and things like that. I didn't know anyone else who had to go get food from food banks. I didn't know anyone like that. So that trauma, that pain, that embarrassment caused me to not always feel my best, or that I liked who I was. But then as I began to grow and had the women who were feeding into my spirit, and as I grew in my relationship with God and recognized that God doesn't make mess, I began to really, really like me. And now I'm happy to say I think I'm my own best cheerleader because I have been given so much. And I believe that it's my job to be a living, breathing testimony of God's greatness. So I guess the second thing that sustains me is my relationship and my walk with God. This is a faith walk. Every day it's a faith walk. Some days are hard. And it's supposed to be, because when I'm wearing this robe, I'm making some serious decisions. So it's supposed to be hard. My faith in God is what keeps me going. Keeps me going and keeps me smiling. Also, my family sustains me. My ride or die, my baby boy, who's now a 15-year-old young man. He's always there to smile, to crack a silly joke. And my husband, Absalom. It's something about to have a man who covers you. And Absalom was God sent, because I prayed for him. And it's something to be able to know that no matter what's going on, I have someone I can turn to. So I'm thankful. I have a lot that sustains me and keeps me going. All right. Where do I see myself in 10 years? I still plan to be the presiding judge of the 304th District Court. I really enjoy what I do. I really enjoy that I can actually touch all of Dallas County's children. It's what I was doing already, but on a grander scale. And I really like that, because I have this platform now, that what I was doing before, I can do it on a much bigger level. And that I can get people to help me, because people listen now as Judge Lane versus Attorney Martin or Private Citizen Martin. So I can get a lot of things done that can benefit a lot of our children. Have I achieved my goals? I've achieved a lot of my goals. I consider myself a goal getter. I set goals and I look forward to conquering and crashing those goals. So I've conquered a lot of my goals, but I still have a lot more that I have in store. I believe in always challenging yourself. I believe in always trying to improve yourself. And that's what I do with my goals. What do I want to leave on society? You know, when I was a little girl, my grandfather would take me fishing. And as we were waiting for the fish to bite, sometimes he'd pick up a pebble and he would toss it across the pond, and it would bounce. It would skip across the water. And I tried to copy that, but I could never do it. But what I did notice is when that pebble hit the water, it caused a ripple. And that ripple would hit the water and cause more ripples, and it would keep going on and on and on and on until it reached the back of the, they kept rippling and I couldn't see anymore, but I knew it was still going. That's what I want to leave on society. I want the kids that I touch. I want to be the ripple for the kids that I touch. I want to know that I'm making positive changes for them that affects them now, that affects them as they're grown-ups and have their own children, and their own children have their grandchildren. And it excites me to know that I am leaving a legacy, not just for my child, but for all of Dallas County's children. That's my goal every day I come here. It's my goal to leave the kids and the families better than when they met me.